Hey, what's going on? This video is going to be about aliens and the Annunaki. Are they coming back? What's going on with them? Thompson TV, David Thompson. Yeah. Well, who are the Annunaki? Well, I have learned that the Annunaki just means crossing. If not, I will fix that with a little writing right here. I'm sure it means that I've crossed. And their symbol is the cross. That's how we got that into our Catholic and Christian Bibles, because you know they were here first, and all of their thoughts on their religion we eventually adopt and put into our religions, and it was just a way of life for them, and it was also just a symbol of what was it? The moon crossing. It was a couple of planets crossing. So that's how they used that symbol. And the Ankh, that was one of their symbols. And all the gods, the priestess in Egypt, they used to worship the Anunnaki. Now let me clarify the word Anunnaki a second time. It's not just to cross, or we have crossed, because we have crossed the galaxy. It just means alien also. It's not like a race of aliens. It just means aliens in general, because all of these different beings were coming down, and these ancient men called them Annunaki. It wasn't like oh, this is the Anunnaki, this is Palladians, this is the Arcturians, this is the Draco, so on and so forth. It was just boom, broad Anunnaki. Okay, and a lot of people ask, are the Anunnaki bad? Now, has I just opened up that word, saying that it's a general word listing, just like we say people, then we break down the races. Of course, you got to say that no and yes, there's some that are bad and there's some that are good, and people are waiting for the Anunnaki to return. And the question on that, the answer on that question, they have never left. Aliens are always here. They leave, they come back. Some just never leave, and they've been in contact with our government for a very, very long time. There's a great book out there if you guys want to know more about this. It's The End of Days by Zecharia Sitchin. That talks about what we call the Anunnaki. It talks about how they came, how they built, and how they helped create the human race. This is very, very interesting. I did the Return of the Annunaki video, and it was based off of Zecharia Sitchin's The End of Days. So you guys should just look into that. It's like, it has a lot of good information. But once again, don't take anything for the truth. Just take it for a piece of, or just knowledge. Okay, and see from there, you also want to look into the book Behold the Pale Horse. Behold the Pale Horse tells a lot about aliens. It gives a big description on how United States first came in contact with aliens, and it tells about Roswell. Roswell was not the first event. It tells a little bit about Hitler having meetings with aliens, and he was the first that we know of, that I can recall in the book, that was reverse engineering these crafts. And then we got a hold of some of his craft, and we reverse engineered, and then we came out with all this technology. People always ask, how do we make this big tech jump in such a short period of time? And it was because we was reverse engineering this alien technology. So it was very easy to make that jump. So if you see the book, once again, is Behold the Pale Horse. It tells about how there was other events that these crafts were shot down. They was being chased by other alien races, and we would go and retrieve the craft, and on some events there would still be aliens in these pods or these craft. And we had got one that is listed in the book, and his name was Abe. Just like if you ever seen the video game, and the video game was based on what? It was an alien that was captured and they were trying to save his alien race from these other alien race. So all this fiction, all these movies that you see, they all are based in some kind of reality. But back to Abe. Abe, he was our capture, our prisoner, I would like to say, for many years. And at first when they had Abe, they would ask him questions, and all he would do is lie, because, you know, it's just like a prisoner of war. You don't want to give out your secrets. For what? But we found out later on that Abe was dying. He had became injured in the crash, and what we had at the time, we could not heal him. So after finding out that, we sent a signal back to his home race, and eventually, long story short, they visited us. I think it was like 1953. I would have to check that, but I'm sure it's around the 1950s. And at some period, they also had a visit with Ronald Reagan, and damn, I really don't want to say this wrong, so I'm not going to say it. It was one president that they had a visit with, and he ended up dying a short time after. He was already sick. This president was already sick, and he ended up dying a short time after. And there was a press conference that he was supposed to cover, and he did not make it because they said he was on vacation. And honestly, he was doing this visit, and then after, he went to the hospital because he was severely ill because the radiation that these aliens had. And you guys should also look into this event anywhere that you can search for it, because it was big. They visited a base, not sure which one. It could have been Area 51, but they visited one of our top secret bases, and they said that there couldn't be any weapons allowed. And of course, being human, we still bought weapons. And then I guess one of our pistols went off, and it did nothing to them. It kind of like reflected off of whatever they had, armor or whatnot, and they end up shooting laser at the soldier that fired off his weapon and disintegrated him with their weapon. So yeah, we don't want to be going to war with these guys. Anyway, after that, we got into an agreement with them to have an ambassador for the United States. And the United States being the United States, just like any other country, we said that, okay, we're fine with this agreement. The agreement was that you give us an ambassador to inform us and to help us out, and we will allow you to abduct and do as you please to a minimum. Now, if they're abducting, these are not the aliens that you really want to have as allies. So this falls back into the Illuminati and the Freemasons and what they believe in. The Illuminati, they feel like they come from a superior race of beings that were the Annunaki in the book. These are tall gray beings. They're about 15 to 17 feet, and they have an awkward shaped head, and that's why you see these depictions all over Egypt, because that comes from the lineage of gods that we call that were named in Egypt, like Osiris, Ra, just to name some very popular ones. And to get back to what I was saying, it was these beings we got into this contract with. We was trying to just have them as the U.S. ambassadors, and just to help us and feed us with information. Of course, being like any other civilization that wanted to have their own objective, which they did, which came clear later on for us, they said no, right off the bat. No, that's not going to happen. We're going to have our ambassadors all over this world, because that gives them a little bit more dominance to do as they please. So they did that, and eventually they ended up breaking their contract with us too. They abducted at will. They did as they wanted. That's when we had the big informational stream of cattle mutilation and people being abducted, and it happens more than you even know, because it's being covered up a lot. Edward Snowden was getting into that to the smallest degree. He didn't want to get into it too much because he did not want to seem like he was not a credible source, because when people hear things like this, they think that you're just crazy and you're not credible. So he just touched on that very, very slightly, just enough to know that the United States is in max surveillance, because only events like this, because when events like this happen, they'll see it instantly and they'll be able to shut it down and isolate it and take control of it. So I hope that information helped you guys out, just to let you guys know that there are aliens. There is proof out there. All you have to do is look for it. There is actual footage of aliens, and I've had experiences. Other people had experiences. If you want to hear more about that, let me know. At least 20 people asked me about it, and I will do a video on my experiences, and we can go from there. So to be clear, the Annunaki just means the crossing, and it's just a general word for aliens, and they are here. Thank you for watching Thompson TV. Like, subscribe, and share.